This year's playoffs, phenomenal. But there wasn't a 5-overtime game. And no one played 65 minutes in a single contest. Seth Jones, if you walk around this place enough, you'll hear enough of our analysts say he's going to win a Norris. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Best trade fit for Seth Jones, because it certainly looks like under Brad Larson, Columbus is headed for a retooling or rebuild. Choose the term as you will. Perry, this guy has so much upside.
Absolutely, and he's young too. So this could be a building block for somebody that's, hey, you look at Vancouver, you look at LA with some young teams. This is a guy you can bring in maybe and add some established players, show some players along like that. I've also got the Montreal. You look at Montreal, if they're looking to build on what they want, add a little more D strength there. Again, Carolina. But I like the idea of where he can go, and if he's got to be the #1 guy. Well, he's going to be the #1 guy, excuse me, and really shore up a defensive situation. And there's all kinds of spots for him, but I kind of like somewhere out west. I like the LA. I like Vancouver with what they've been going on. It was a rough year, but you add those defensemen to those players, or even in Edmonton, who definitely needs help in defense, to bring him in, someone like that for sure to take a run at Seth Jones. But I'm sure everybody wants, and again, all these names, everybody will take them.
Sure.
Everybody will take them.
Rangers.
Rangers. They're in. Columbus, Seth Jones said he didn't want to resign there, and that's part of it. So automatically that shows that they're in retooling mode in Columbus. New Jersey Devils, interesting, could use a defenseman like him. LA, as Perry mentioned, Chicago maybe. Edmonton, they need some defensemen, need some help. And if you put him with some star power like McDavid and Draisaitl, and all of a sudden Tyson Barrie along, and they've been a big physical defenseman that could pound some bodies, that would be pretty impressive. Philadelphia needs some defensemen badly, in the worst way. And they've been looking to retool that in Philadelphia and Philadelphia always on paper looks like, well, that team's going to be in the playoffs, and they start out great, and all of a sudden it fizzles. And there's this big thing around Seth Jones when he hits the open market. Analytical numbers don't back him up.
What?
But the eye test does. There's a huge, if you look at the huge disparity talking to people between the analytics for Seth Jones
Take some time
and the
on
eye
this.
test.
Really?
Yes. The analytical numbers the last couple of years for Seth Jones have sunken badly.
Oh, wow.
So some think the value's not there, but when you watch him play hockey, the value, to me, is the eye test. And this is where analytics and the eye test, kind of, you got to measure both of them.
Interesting.
But you watch it there, and the analytical people say Seth Jones isn't that star defenseman, isn't that super great, powerful defenseman. But when you watch him play in person, he can be dominant at times. And I'll go the analytical route the last couple of years, just in part what's happened with Columbus and trying to retool and trying to rebuild. You get him in the right situation, on the right team, you're hitting a home run.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
You look at the core samples, 50% over the last couple of years for Seth Jones, which is amazing. Because I agree. I got to put that on Columbus, too. I agree completely with Billy there. Because you watch him play. He can play the game. He makes plays. Steps out of the system when he needs to. Breaks system to make plays. You know, D-zone. Steps up offensively. There's so many things. Just watching him, he does well. It's just shocking to where his analytics are.
And his time on ice is so consistently impressive over the last 4 or 5 years. He's a guy that you know what you're going to get night after night after night. Very durable.